So next presentation, the speaker will be Etienne Meunier, and he will talk about the double-walled carbon nanotubes that induce IL-1 beta secretion in human monocytes through the NLP inflammasome activation. Please, Etienne.
Thank you. Before beginning my presentation, I would like to thank the Congress organizers for giving me the opportunity to present my work about the study of the impact of carbon nanotubes on the inflammasome complex in human monocytes. As you know, due to their exceptional properties, carbon nanotubes offer a wide range of applications from cars industry to medicine. Thus, with the increasing use of these nanoparticles, many questions about their potential harmful effects on the human health have also risen. Monocytes and macrophages are key immune cells involved in the recognition and the elimination of pathogens and particles, such as asbestos and silica. They express a wide range of receptors, the PRR for pattern recognizing receptor, such as TLR for toll-like receptor or NLR for null-like receptor, which recognize and sense various conserved signals expressed in the surface of pathogens and particles. This recognition leads to the phagocytosis of particles and may induce the production of pro-inflammatory mediators such as oxygen-reactive species and pro-inflammatory cytokines. Among all the inflammatory cytokines produced by monocytes and macrophages, IL-1 family cytokines, such as IL-1 beta, exhibit are potent immune activators, which exhibit both local and systemic effects by inducing the production of other pro-inflammatory cytokines and the recruitment of other pro-inflammatory cells in the site of injury, leading to the initiation of an inflammatory reaction. Their production requires two steps. The first priming event, such as the TLR stimulation, leads to the pro-interleukin 1 beta expression in the cytoplasm of cells. Then, a second event leads to the processing of pro-interleukin 1 beta and secretion into its mature form. This process involved the activation of the protease caspase-1, which is closely linked to the inflammasome activation. The NLRP3 inflammasome is today the most potent inducer of IL-1 beta secretion. Moreover, it has been recently demonstrated that some nanoparticles and asbestos were able to specifically trigger the activation of the NLRP3 inflammasome, leading to the initiation of an inflammatory reaction. In this context, we evaluated the impact of double-walled carbon nanotubes on the activation of this complex by measuring the secretion of mature interleukin-1 beta in primary human monocytes. As the pro-interleukin-1 beta is not continuously expressed in primary human monocytes, we used TLR4 ligand, the LPS, in order to induce the pro-interleukin-1 beta expression. As we can see here, in contrast to unprimed monocytes, LPS-primed monocytes secreted large amounts of IL-1 beta when challenged with double-walled carbon nanotubes. An interesting finding is that they were unable to induce TNF-alpha or IL-6 other pro-inflammatory cytokines, suggesting that these particles specifically trigger IL-1 beta secretion in LPS-primed human monocytes. As this particle triggers IL-1 beta secretion in LPS-primed human monocytes, we evaluated the involvement of the protease caspase-1 in this process. Western blot experiment showed that double-walled carbon nanotube activated the caspase-1, and specific inhibition of activation of this protease was correlated with a strong decrease of the double-walled carbon nanotube-induced IL-1 beta secretion. Moreover, the silencing of the NLRP3 gene expression was correlated with a strong decrease in the double-walled carbon nanotube-induced IL-1 beta secretion. Altogether, this result suggests that this nanoparticle induced IL-1 beta release in human monocytes results of NLRP3-dependent caspase-1 activation. Having demonstrated that the double-walled carbon nanotube induced NLRP3 inflammasome activation, we studied the molecular pathway involved in this process. Taking advantage that some carbon nanotubes and aggregates were located in phagosome-like structures, we inhibited the phagocytosis process with latranculin A and demonstrated that totally abrogated the double-walled carbon nanotube-induced EL1 beta secretion. In line, oxygen reactive species have been demonstrated to be involved in the NLRP3 inflammasome activation. Nevertheless, in our experiment, double-walled carbon nanotubes were unable to induce any ROS production. Moreover, the use of Trolox, a chemical scavenger ROS, a ROS chemical scavenger, did not decrease the double-walled carbon nanotubes induced EL1 beta secretion. Then, we studied the involvement of the phagosomal maturation in the double-walled carbon nanotube induced EL1 beta secretion. Inhibition of cathepsin protease and specifically cathepsin B protease activation was correlated with a strong decrease in the double-walled carbon nanotubes induced EL1 beta secretion. Moreover, the inhibition of vacuolar acidification with bifidobacterium A1 was also correlated with a strong decrease in the secretion of EL1 beta induced by double-walled carbon nanotubes. So altogether, this result suggests that the induction of EL1 beta secretion promoted by double-walled carbon nanotubes require phagocytosis process, phagosome maturation, but not ROS production. Finally, we evaluated the intrinsic properties of double-walled carbon nanotubes to trigger EL1 beta secretion. As we can see, oxidized double-walled carbon nanotubes were also able to induce EL1 beta secretion in LPS prime human monocytes. Nevertheless, in our experiments, carbon black nanoparticles were unable to induce EL1 beta secretion. So this result suggests that the ability of double-walled carbon nanotubes to promote EL1 beta secretion is independent of their hydrophobicity or their atomic composition. As a conclusion, we demonstrated that double-walled carbon nanotubes or aggregates were able to be phagocytosed. This phagocytosis was associated with a phagosome maturation and a decrease in the pH and an activation of cathepsin, which were involved in the activation of the NLRP3 inflammasome through the protease caspase-1, leading to the secretion in LPS prime human monocytes of mature interleukin-1 beta. Before ending my presentation, I would like to thank all the collaborators which were involved, and more specifically, Florian Borgiol. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Etienne. I would like to ask the first question since I work with IL-1 since ever. First, I like very much the fact that you have confirmed the finding that ROS are not involved in inflammasome activation as was initially proposed and turned out not to be true, is not true ROS. The second question, which is very obvious, did you measure IL-18 maturation since apparently the same inflammasome is responsible for maturation of both cytokines?
No. So could you repeat the second question?
Did you measure IL-18 maturation?
Interleukin maturation? No, we didn't. We used ELISA test in order to...
For IL-1?
Yes. For...
Other question from the audience? One over there.
Thanks. Just a very quick question. Were you able to inhibit caspase-1 activation by the nanotubes with the pan-caspase inhibitor that you used?
Yes, we used Z-VAID and ZY-VAID, so a specific inhibitor and a large inhibitor.
Cool. Thanks very much.
So, thank you again.
Thank you.
And the last speaker of the morning is Linda Stöhr. She will talk about the effect of engineered nanoparticles